Hey, y'all. So you didn't lose your wings. You just forgot they were there. Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered, how did I get here? Not because of your age, not because life changed, but because somewhere along the way, you stopped recognizing the woman that was looking back at you. Maybe it happened little by little. You spent years taking care of someone else, trying to just keep the peace, trying to become what someone else expected you to be, trying so hard to not disappoint people that one day you realized you had disappointed yourself. You forgot what made you laugh. You forgot what it felt to feel alive. You forgot what your dreams even were. If that's where you are today, I want you to hear something. You're not broken, you're buried, and there is a big difference. The woman God created is still there. She is hidden beneath years of disappointment, criticism, fear, rejection, or simply surviving. We've all been there. We get stuck in survival mode and we hyper focus on something and then we just forget. We forget to look around and to look up. That's why this podcast is called Never Hide Your Wings, because somewhere along the way, many of us learned to fold them up, to make ourselves smaller, to stay quiet, to stop dreaming, to stop believing that we mattered. But God didn't create us that way. One of the biggest lessons that I have learned is this: healing isn't becoming someone new. Healing is remembering who God created you to be before the world convinced you otherwise. For me, that journey looked very different than I expected. When I walked away from years of living under someone else's expectations, I remember thinking, what now? I had spent so much time just trying to survive that I wasn't even sure what my future looked like anymore. I knew I had to rebuild my life, but I didn't know where to begin. Then God gently reminded me of something that I had completely forgotten. I have been in the real estate industry in one form or another since 1984. I have been licensed as a realtor since 2005, and I have been a broker since 2019. I hadn't lost my career. I had abandoned my gifts. I had simply allowed them to become smaller. I had let fear, life, pain, circumstances convince me to stop growing. The gifts were still there. They just needed room to breathe again. And for so many women, that is the same is true. You don't have to invent a brand new version of yourself. You simply need to rediscover the gifts God placed inside you years ago. Maybe you're creative. Maybe you're a teacher. Maybe you're an entrepreneur. Maybe you're a leader. Maybe you're a writer. Maybe you are the person who naturally encourages everyone around you. You lift other people up. Those gifts didn't disappear. They've just been waiting for you to believe in them again. But there's another lesson I learned. None of us are meant to rebuild alone. Healing does not happen in isolation. One of the greatest gifts God gave me during this season was coaching. Not because I didn't know real estate. I knew real estate. What I couldn't see were my own blind spots. Pain has a way of clouding your vision. Sometimes we become so close to our circumstances that we can't see the opportunities standing right in front of us. A good coach doesn't tell you what to become or who to become. A good coach helps you see what has been there all along. Sometimes that's a business coach. Sometimes it's a mentor. Sometimes it's a trusted friend. Sometimes it's a pastor or a counselor. God often uses people to help us recognize what we can't see on our own. And that's exactly what happened to me. As I rebuilt my business, something even bigger was happening. God wasn't rebuilding my career. He was rebuilding me. Every challenge was restoring my confidence. Every step was rebuilding my faith. Every victory reminded me that I was capable of far more than I had believed. Then one day I realized something that completely changed my perspective. Our mess becomes our vision. Everything I walked through, the heartbreak, the disappointment, the years of feeling invisible, the rebuilding, none of it was wasted. God was preparing me to become the woman I needed when I was at my lowest. Now I understand why. Because there are women everywhere who have forgotten who they are. Women who have been told they're not enough. Women who think it's too late to start over. Women who believe they've missed their purpose. And I want to be the voice that reminds them, you are still here. God is not finished with you. Your purpose didn't disappear because life got hard. Your gifts didn't expire because someone failed to appreciate them. Your calling didn't end because your marriage ended, or because your business slowed down, or because you've made mistakes. God is still writing your story. Walking out of the ashes of the life that I had allowed myself to settle for and stepping into God's purpose has been one of the hardest things that I've ever done. It has also been one of the most beautiful, the most freeing, the most life-giving experiences I have ever had. Today, I thank God for every part of that journey, not because I would choose the pain over again, but because I wouldn't trade the woman God created through it. If you are listening today and you're wondering where to begin, let me leave you with this. Ask yourself 3 questions. What gifts has God already placed inside of me? Who has God placed in my life to help me see what I can't see? And what would life look like if I stopped hiding my wings? I truly believe that every woman has a purpose that's bigger than her past. Every woman has gifts the world needs. And every woman deserves someone reminding her of that until she believes it herself. That's why I'm here. It isn't just a podcast. Not for me. This is a community. This is a place where we remind one another that no matter what we've been through, we can rise again. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this episode spoke to your heart, I hope you'll share it with another woman who may need this reminder, because someone out there is waiting to hear that it's not too late. Until next time, keep choosing hope, keep choosing courage, and whatever you do, never hide your wings.